Good evening and welcome to Thai PBS World. The coalition government put together by Prime Minister Prayut Chan-o-cha will be formally sworn in tomorrow. And with the razor-thin majority in the House of Representatives, it is expected to face an uphill task in running the country. Tonight, Thai PBS World talks to Dr. J. Thonavanik, a former advisor to the Constitution Drafting Committee and who is now a lecturer of the Faculty of Law at the College of Asian Scholars on the future of Prayut government. Of course, the foremost question is, what are the biggest challenges the government will be facing?
I think there are 3 or 4 issues. Firstly, the economic development, because this has been a problem that many people look at the former Prayut administration, the one that came from the coup, that they had a weak point on economic stability and economic development, that the government will have to boost up the economy and the economic stability must be had in this government. Secondly, accountability, because people are looking at especially several ministers that they have several other backgrounds and they're having problems of their own, or they're having the background that were looked at in a different way as the General Prayut or the group that people are looking at as a faithful minister. Okay, they might look at several other ministers in terms of some of the tycoon, or in terms of some of maybe look over to as these people were mafia before. The third thing is chance of corruption, because people said that in order to become this government, many parties use up lots of money. We don't know whether it's true. If it's true, then there's a chance of corruption. Lastly, whether or not we can reform this country, and whether or not the result of the reform will turn out to be an aftermath of reconciliation of the country. This is very important because at this point, the country is still in discrepancy. People are still in 2 parts, it's seen very clear. So that's the 3 or 4 problems.
Prime Minister Prayut has cobbled together a coalition government that comprises over a dozen of political parties. The question is how Prayut will be able to navigate through the new political landscape, which he is not familiar with, and which certainly will be full of political landmines.
The foremost and first thing is that in order to put all the policies that each of the party had told the public that they would like to have as governmental policies, that is very hard. Several parties have different policies. For example, some of the parties would like to push forward for marijuana to be legal. What sort of legality is that? Is it for recreational purpose or just for medical purpose? People didn't really catch up whether or not it will be pushed to what level, to what extent. Okay, so this is one thing, that putting together all the policies. The second thing is that reshuffling of the cabinet, because many ministers did not get what they want. They wanted to move over to the other ministry. Some of those people who didn't even get to be minister, they would like to be in line to become the minister. So reshuffling, when will it come? And let's say when it comes at the right time, that's fine. When it comes at the wrong time and reshuffling the wrong person, putting the wrong person into the already right person's position, that will be a problem. Thirdly, how to work in parliament, because the number of the governmental MP and the opposition MP are very close to each other. So in order to push laws, in order to push any resolution, is very tough. Okay, lastly, because there are many MPs becoming the ministers, normally in voting in parliament, the minister would not vote. But in this situation, will the minister have to sit back as the MP and vote, then run up to be sitting as the minister? That will be a very funny situation.
From the very beginning, the Prayut cabinet has come under criticisms for the questionable backgrounds of some of its members. Some have been implicated in corruption scandals, Others have been alleged to be involved in shady businesses. Does that mean Prayut and his government have image problem from day one?
I think they do. Many, as I said, are looked at as mafia. Many, of course, has been dealt with under several legal issues and severe issues, for example, narcotic issue. Several were generals that have problems of their background. For example, borrowing some watches from friends like that. Okay, putting all these people together, irrespective of all those people who have been questioned of whether or not they've done something wrong in some other administration. For example, Kun Suriya, whether or not he has problem when he was in the Thaksin administration. Kun Somsak, sitting as the justice minister, would he be delivering true justice to the people? How will he control the Department of Special Investigation? Or will the Department of Special Investigation be moved to the office of the Prime Minister? Because of what? So all these things, of course, the accountability and the image of all the ministers are very important to this administration. Whether or not they have bad backgrounds is not an issue, but whether or not they are able to demonstrate good background in the new era of this new administration, I think that's more important.
At this point, there is probably nothing that Prayut can do about the past history of some of his cabinet members who are likely to become lightning rods for the new administration. But looking forward, what should Prayut or what can Prayut do to prevent them from being a distraction that may end up jeopardizing his administration, whose long-term stability is already a big question mark?
The bad background in the past, that's one thing. Whether or not that's the real bad background, that's not really an issue. An issue is that would that bad background be carried on to this current administration and again to be the same bad background? In this administration, they can do good and people will forget the bad background. Even for those, let's say for example, for Kun Thamanat who has this narcotic issue, narcotic problem, if he now becomes the minister and he does something good, he delivers development in the ministry that he is hosting, he is administering, then that's fine. People will little and more forget what he did in the past. Okay, Kun Somsak, though he wanted to be Minister of Agriculture, he didn't get to be. However, if he is able to deal with the grassroots problems, because you see the grassroots problems is also in the Ministry of Justice. Okay, all these legal process, legal procedures that people have not been treated fairly. If he's able to do that, then maybe he might be able to move to agriculture because the same problem is already there in agriculture. So it's the new image that they will have to boost up and they will have to demonstrate to the whole world.
And that's it for Thai PBS World tonight. Thank you for watching.